Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shadowed City podcast. I am your host, Larry, and this is The Shadows Within. We're going to review 3 shows today. And I also want to make a few announcements. I have an interview for Breaking Kayfabe this Friday, 7 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. PST time. It's going to be epic. And I also have an interview for the eFed World on Saturday on The Shadows Within with Mr. Jason Miller. So stay tuned for that, everybody. And the interview for Breaking Kayfabe, which is on Friday, will be with Prince Dagon, newly crowned IWF Imperial Champion. Big congrats to him. And the IWA Grand Royale for February 28th, Part 2 will be happening. If anything changes, we'll keep you all updated. TXT Sin City Massacre is also February 28th. We also have, for TXT coming up in March 21st and 22nd, The Pinnacle, where everything started for TXT. Yeah. Also, when we go into 2K26 for DSEW, Dirty South Extreme Wrestling, we will be having our first PLE pay-per-view, actually. The pay-per-view has been revealed to be called Shawshank Rebellion. Should be a fantastic pay-per-view for 2K26 and the first for 2K26 when we do move over. Now, I do have to go over these shows, but I do hope everybody is having a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you all may be. TKO City Jungle Contender Show for TKO was a fantastic show. If y'all missed it, go check it out. It was a 5-way elimination. Jackson Silver versus Clayton Wallace versus Colby Crucial versus Damian Graves versus J-Max, with J-Max walking out victorious. Lockjaw and Danielle Demoise versus Luther Cross and Viper, with Luther Cross and Viper walking away victorious. Falls Count Anywhere, Aiden Nichols versus Bloodstone, with Aiden Nichols walking away victorious. No Holds Barred, Wolfie versus Chin Pao, with Chin Pao walking away victorious. Vextra and Anomaly had a promo which led to a brawl. 8 Superstars, 8-way matchup. London Little versus BPW versus Aaron James versus Eric Mercer versus Tony Tornado versus Lewis West versus KD versus Durag Ortiz, with KD walking away victorious. TLC, Anastasia Agul versus Suzy, with Anastasia Agul walking away victorious. No Holds Barred, Alexa Morales versus Crazy Wolf, with Alexa Morales walking away victorious. Kaiva Chaos versus Blackfire versus Violet Zero and Lilith Black, with Violet Zero and Lilith Black walking away victorious. Now we are going to go over MTM. And this was the first show that KD produced as the GM for MTM. Hold on. So he did fantastic, and I can't wait to see what he brings for the next card. It was Kaiva versus Cora. Kaiva Chaos versus Cora, which ended in a count-out victory for Cora. But I hope we get to see a rematch between these two so we can get a clear winner. Mixed tag match between Carter Justice and Domina versus Kosai and Kaida, with Carter Justice and Domina walking away victorious. Fatal 4-way Falls Count Anywhere. Michaela versus Vextra versus Scylla versus Wolfina. And well, don't think I got down the win. That's my mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be sure to get that winner to y'all. I thought I wrote it down. I'm completely blanking. But next up was a mixed gender tag, Vile and Chaotica versus Big Rig and Suzy, with Vile and Chaotica walking away victorious. 5-way tables elimination, DSB versus Nixon versus Aaron James versus Eddie Walker, with DSB walking away victorious. Berserko versus Elkane, with Berserko walking away victorious. No Holds Barred, Wolfie versus Dr. Gigglethorpe, with Dr. Gigglethorpe walking away victorious. Welcome, Brian Chaplow, the Imperial referee. Hello, sir. I hope you are well. 2 out of 3 Extreme Rules, Jack Graves versus KD, with KD walking away victorious. And finally, it was Underground Wolfen versus Data Boy, with Wolfen walking away victorious. Welcome, Damian Briggs. I was just telling the people as we started this that your event for Sin City Massacre is the 28th, and I promoted the Pinnacle March 21st, March 22nd. Stay tuned for that. TXT going strong, ladies and gentlemen. That's great to hear, my friend. And I'm doing pretty well, Brian. I can't complain. Much better. I got my teeth filled in the back finally, so not in pain anymore. Feeling better. I'm ready to get things going. And also, great show at IWF on the 21st, by the way. Great job there. Welcome, Kobe. Welcome. How are you, sir? Kobe Archer in the house, everybody. For ROV Asylum, I went over what matches would be happening with King Dominator, but now we are going to review who won. Raven Grimm versus Jen, with Jen walking away victorious. Welcome, DJB. The Imperial Wrestling Federation General Manager is in the house. That's great to hear, Kobe. I'm very happy to hear it. Evening. Yes, DJB, evening. Great shows on the 21st, by the way. Great show. And you're doing great as General Manager. IZW Death Pit Championship. CJ Frost versus the champion, the Phantom Eddie Walker, in the Death Pit, which is the underground, with Eddie Walker retaining the gold. 2 out of 3 tables, Larry the Butcher versus Red Mane, with Red Mane walking away victorious. IZW Women's World Championship Elimination Chamber, Rose Wilson versus Madison Landon versus Rachel Sawyer versus Kyva Frost versus Reagan Anderson versus Riley the Ripper, with Riley retaining the gold. ROV Thunder International Championship, 2 out of 3 falls. Jack Graves versus the champion Big T, with Jack Graves becoming the new champion. Bloodlust Championship Fatal 4-Way for the Bloodlust Championship. Taylor Griffin versus Tiffany Colt versus Kendra Grimm versus the champion Isabella Graves, with Tiffany Colt walking out the new champion. 5 tables of death, Aaron James versus Craig Mack versus the Stoner Deathmatch Hippie Nomad versus Alexander Colt versus Jay Monster, with Aaron James walking away victorious. ROV Thunder Tag Team Championships Tornado Tag, JoJo and Andre Robinson versus KD and Combat Genius, with JoJo and Andre Robinson walking away victorious. Ghost Edwards versus the Deranged Clown Insidious, with Ghost Edwards walking away victorious. Thunder Women's Tag Team Championships Doom, Britt Graves and Angelina West versus champions Ashley Dillon and Cameron Steele, with Doom becoming the new champions. Falls Count Anywhere, Big Lou versus Bullet, with Bullet walking away victorious. Artemis versus Angel Bryant, with Angel Bryant walking away victorious. Triple Threat Elimination, the Savage John Robb versus Rusty Steel versus Prince X, with Prince X walking away victorious. And to cap off ROV Asylum, for the ROV Thunder World Championship, it was Akane Vachon versus Buster Anderson versus the American Badass John Wigginton versus the Gladiator Corey Bishop versus 5-star AJ Woods versus the champion Unrivaled Blade, with Unrivaled Blade retaining the gold. And those were the shows I had to go over, everybody. And that's what I have at the moment. Stay tuned for TPW Vixens Flames coming up, of course. And like I said, interview this Saturday with Jason Miller on The Shadows Within for an interview. Breaking Kayfabe this Friday, 7 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. PM PST time. And it will be with the IWF Imperial Champion, Prince Dagon. Stay tuned for that, everybody. And March 21st and March 22nd, TXT will bring to you The Pinnacle. Part 2 of IWA Grand Royale, February 28th. TXT Sin City Massacre, February 28th. Tomorrow, we have SPW Carnage TV. A lot of big things happening. And also, eventually, for 2K17, we got done with all 3 shows of the first week of the Universe mode. And we will be reviewing them with the other GMs before we go on to the next week. And since it is that next week, leading up to that second week, for Raw and SmackDown, they'll be having their pay-per-view Extreme Rules. Because the calendar starts us off in April. So, and for ECW, we get our own pay-per-views, and that will be CyberSlam. So stay tuned for that, everybody. We hope everybody has a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be. Peace out.